Hello all, welcome to video 27 of generative AI using Langchain and Databricks playlist. In last video, we have learnt about JSON output parsers in Langchain. In this video, we are going to discuss about Pydantic output parser in Langchain. Okay. Now, Pydantic, we have already seen Pydantic with the LLMs which support the structured output, right? We have used it with structured output functions. So we basically know all the advantages and disadvantages and all that stuff when to use Pydantic, when not to use Pydantic, right? All these things we are already aware of. But this part, we are going to learn about the LLMs if they are not supporting the structured output, how to use Pydantic to get that structured output, right? Now, basically, Pydantic output parser, it is structured output parser in Langchain, which uses Pydantic models, okay, to enforce the schema validation, okay. So, it enforces the schema validation, okay. And you all know we can do the data validation, right? We can enforce the schema, we can enforce data types, and we can do data validation using Pydantic output parser, right? Fine. Now, code wise, I have run the installations. Okay, all the installations you also are having with you, right? I'll explain the code. First thing, I have imported the chat Databricks from Databricks Langchain. I have imported a prompt template from Langchain core.prompts. I have imported Pydantic output parser, right? This is the place where from where we are importing all the output parsers, right? Langchain core.output parsers. Okay. And from Pydantic, I have imported base model and field. Okay. I've created this chat model, variable chat model to use. Let me format this one. Okay. Now, what I have done is I have created one class, right, in Pydantic. Now we have seen using which structured output function we need to create a class, right? So what I have done, I have created a class of imaginary city, okay, which is inheriting the base model, okay. The name is in string, name of that city is in string, and description is name of the city. Let me put it imaginary city, right? And all of you know this description will act as the it is like a support to the prompt or a prompt also, right? Which will describe what this field is about, right? Established in, it is integer. I have put the constraint greater than 0000 and description year when the imaginary city was established, right? And whether it is string description whether of the imaginary city, right, in one word, right? Simple. Okay. This I have created a class for imaginary city. Okay. Now let me not close that. I have just created the variable for a Pydantic output parser. Okay, I have used Pydantic output parser and Pydantic object equals to imaginary city. This is the object. Okay. Now I'm creating a prompt template, imaginary city template. I'm using a prompt template here. In template, I have to give the prompt, give me name, established year, and weather of imaginary city. I'm just passing the city country. Okay, through input variables and format instructions you have seen in last two videos. We are passing those through partial variables. Okay, so Pydantic output parser dot get format instructions. Okay, what we did in JSON output parser. Okay, JSON output parser dot get format instructions, right? Fine, this is the variable I have defined here. Okay, whatever format instructions are specified here in this class, those will be used to parse the output, okay, using Pydantic output parser. Okay, now imaginary city prompt, what I'm doing, I'm just giving the prompt dot invoke, I'm passing the city. Let's say I'm looking for Indian city. Okay, now what I'm doing, this invoke prompt, okay, see how many steps I'm doing. This invoke prompt, I'm again invoking it against the model, okay, chat model, so that my LLM will give me the output. Okay, and then what I'm doing, final result, I'm again using this Pydantic output parser variable that I have created dot parse result dot content. Okay, and then it will parse the result. It will give me the output in this format, name, established year, and weather. Okay, let me run this. So this is the, long way we are following here. Okay. I'm following 3 to 4 steps over here, right, to get the final output. I'm just invoking the prompt first, then I'm invoking the prompt against the LLM, and then the final output I'm parsing, right, and then I'm printing the final result. See, name AMRAAVATI. This is imaginary city. Whatever Amravati we have in Maharashtra, it is not RAA. Established year 2050 and weather tropical, right? Now, using same Pydantic output parser, what we can do, instead of doing these 3-4 steps, we can do it in one line, right? I just want to give you the flavor of next topic that we are going to learn, which is chains in Langchain. Okay, so this we can do using chain also, right? Chain in Langchain. Okay, now we can see this is some 31 lines of code. Okay, here I have 24 lines of code. These imports are same. I'm importing chat Databricks, prompt template, Pydantic output parser, base model field. I'm creating the chat model to use. Class is same, right? Let me just do one thing. Let me replace this class with the below one. Few small changes we have done, right? Nothing much. Okay. Then Pydantic output parser. Okay. Pydantic object is this imaginary city. Prompt template I have created. Template equals to give me name, establish year, weather of imaginary city, right? Format instructions, city, country I'm passing as input variable, and parcel variable should be my format instructions. Pydantic output parser dot get format instructions. Now here, what change I'm doing? I'm directly creating a chain, right? I am first giving a prompt template to it, then I'm passing the chat model, and then an output parser. So whatever output my chat model is giving, it would be passed. It would be parsed using Pydantic output parser, right? And finally, I'm invoking this chain and I'm passing the input variable, basically whatever we have to pass. Okay, I have passed here USA, right? Let me run this. Okay, and now you can see it has given me the output, right? The passed output using Pydantic output parser, right? So this is how we can use the Pydantic output parser for LLMs which do not support the structured output. Okay, and I have in short explained you how to use chains also. Okay, in details we are going to start with the chains in Langchain from next video, right? But here I have just given you the short idea, right? This is the sequence you are following. First, your prompt should come. Whatever output from, like, by invoking the prompt, it should go to chat model. Then chat model, whatever LLM response we are receiving, it should be parsed using Pydantic output parser, right? Perfect. This code, while I'm explaining, you can just quickly do it so that it will be on your fingertips, right? Fine. Quickly, let's understand the advantages and disadvantages and all these things we have already seen while using with structured output function. But let's quickly understand advantages first. You all know we get structured output, we get validation of output, right? And it is easy to integrate with downstream applications. This is because mostly whatever response we are receiving from LLM is not structured, right? So using, let's say, other output parsers, for example, JSON output parser, I can structure that. But if I want to validate, for example, there is some field called, let's say, birth year, which is 4-digit, right? And I don't want that to be string in my downstream database or downstream any API or any table, right? To make that validation before this data enters to database, we can use Pydantic, right? And structured data, as I said, it is easier to store in databases, easy to send to API, easy to convert to data frame, easy to use in any downstream ETL pipeline, right? Databricks very useful in Databricks. See, Pydantic very useful in Databricks. Databricks is something where on which on this platform we are learning all these things. Very useful in API. RAG. What is RAG? We will be understanding in details. I have given you the basic idea in previous videos, right? And AI agents. Okay. The output we are getting from Pydantic is reliable. We can trust that output. We can rely that output, right? And LLM, see, as I have already told you, it sometimes generates inconsistent responses, right? So Pydantic, what it does, it improves the consistency, right? Model, basically we are giving strict instructions, right? So output is validated and code is also clean and output is also clean and validated, right? The disadvantages, output validations can fail, right? If let's say there is some birth date field or birth year field, right? And I'm passing ABCD or I'm receiving ABCD from LLM, right? This is going to fail, which is sometimes based on your use case, it is advantageous. Okay. But if your use case is not needing this validation, then you don't need to go with Pydantic, right? And definitely Pydantic is using more tokens because we have to structure the output plus validate the output also, right? That's why Pydantic is using more tokens, right? Now, when should we use Pydantic? When we need structured JSON output, when data is going to some application, downstream application or database, when we are building production AI systems, right? When we are creating API or agents, okay, and when we are using some automated pipelines or automation pipelines, in that cases, to make these pipelines production ready, we need to use Pydantic output parser, right? And when Pydantic is not necessary, when we are creating simple chatbot, right? That time Pydantic is not needed, right? It is simple question answering game. When it is free flow text generation that we want from LLM, we don't need Pydantic. We don't need any validation. When we are doing some creative way of writing, or we are having some casual conversation with LLMs, right? And the response also we are getting from LLM is not need to be validated, it is not need to be structured, right? In these cases we will not go with Pydantic. In today's world, right, if you have seen some 5 6 months back, it was like hype or craze to use LLM models or LLM or AI assistants everywhere, right? Nowadays companies are understanding the importance of token cost, right? They are restricting the engineers to do the work in restricted tokens, in limited tokens, right? So because of that, it is very important, this area of optimizing the LLM output, or optimization in generative AI, optimization in agentic AI has got a lot of importance now, right? Because it is directly saving your cost, it is directly impacting your costs, and eventually it is directly contributing to your profits, right? Though the speed of work has gone up using when we are using AI assistants or code assistants or LLM, but the cost also has gone up. So it is very important that we learn all these kind of optimizations, right? All these things in deep, so that we will reduce the LLM cost. We will use the LLM only when it is needed, or for example, Pydantic only when it is needed. Okay, so that we save the cost and we increase the speed of work also. We can make fair use of LLM, right? Okay, I can say a justice to LLM usage, right? We can do this way. Okay. Fine. That's all in the output parsers. I think we have got good insights, right, so far. And the next topic we are going to learn is about chains in Langchain. Okay. So, fine. That's everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.